One of the areas of addiction recovery that I love to work with, actually, probably don't have a favorite. I love them all, really, and this isn't to make light of them by any means, but whether it's a substance, a thought, a belief, or a behavior, I just love working with all kinds of addictions. And one of them that is very dear to my heart is that of a love addiction, relationship addiction, codependency addiction. It's an amazingly powerful addiction that a lot of people don't even classify until they start doing the work with me one-on-one, that it's a powerful, powerful addiction. Hi, I'm David Essel. Love and relationship addiction, or codependency addiction in relationships, is something that so many people struggle with, and they don't really see it as an addiction. A lot of people that have this form of an addiction would look at alcohol or smoking or food as an addiction, but their pattern of dating or marriage or relationships, when we talk about intimacy, they would never look at it at the seriousness and at the serious level that it really is. The recovery from love, relationship, codependency addictions can be brutal. Because the very first thing we have to do is we have to get to the acceptance of the fact that it's an addiction, a full-blown addiction. The second thing is, once we've accepted the fact that we've been in unhealthy relationships, and maybe we're currently in an unhealthy relationship that we're trying to get out of, is that there's going to be withdrawal symptoms from this addiction. Just like with the person with the substance, whether it's nicotine, alcohol, or drugs, there's a withdrawal period of time. When we cease taking those medications, or that alcohol, or that smoking, there's withdrawal, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual withdrawal. When we have a pattern of codependency and unhealthy relationships, dating, marriage, etc., and we choose to end that and move on to the next level and get healthier ourselves so that we can attract healthier love relationships, there will be a withdrawal period, especially if you do it the way that we teach people, and that is to cease all romantic relationships until you're healed. Many times people will come in and they'll go, I'm finally done with it. I've read enough books on codependency. I just saw someone on Dr. Phil or Oprah talking about, this whole thing about unhealthy relationships and love addiction and relationship addiction, and I have that. I want to get healed. Then I'll say, great, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's do some pattern work to see how it's been in your life since the beginning. Many times when someone is struggling with this addiction, if they're 40 years old, they've had the addiction for 35 years. Now, you might think, what do you mean? They started dating at 5? No, but maybe they started being aware of codependent relationships in their family structure, or with which means mom and dad, or their aunt and uncle, or their next door neighbor. And they saw unhealthy relationship patterns, and so they just repeated it because they think that's normal. Or maybe their mom or dad was absent when they were a kid because they left, or they died, or they were abandoned, and so they only know unhealthy relationships and they keep repeating it over and over. Now, often when people start to get into this serious stage of recovery, they'll want to start filling in the role. So they'll end one unhealthy relationship, but they'll pick up another one. I've had clients that have been in unhealthy marriages or unhealthy dating relationships, and so we've started to do this work together, and they've got out of that codependent relationship only to fill it with an accountant who they become overly close with, or an attorney, or a doctor, or a teacher, or whatever it might be. In other words, they're so used to leaning on people in unhealthy ways that while they feel great about letting go of the love relationship, they've just filled it with someone else. So this can be a really, really strong addiction to break, but I want to tell you from all the clients we've worked with in the past, to see the expression on their faces 6 months, a year after they've ended the work, and they're healed and they're healthy, and sometimes they're single and they're really happy for the first time in their life being single, and other times they're back in relationship because they've taken the time off to heal. Sometimes people will get to this stage and then they'll go, you know what, maybe it wasn't that bad, even though the relationship they were in was highly abusive emotionally or abusive physically. They'll have 30 days away from the person, then all of a sudden they'll go, maybe he or she wasn't that bad. It happens to both men and women as well. If you're in an unhealthy relationship right now, or if you look and see the last 2 or 3 or 4 relationships are unhealthy, if you can't remember the last time that you were by yourself out of any relationship whatsoever for a 12-month period of time in a row, a year in a row, if you know that there's something amiss with your love relationships, contact me. I would love to work with you. This is so near and dear to my heart because I struggled as well with this form of addiction a number of years ago. And it's incredible to see the joy that happens when people get comfortable with who they truly are, that divine spirit within that needs no one else to fill it, who's unhealthy, but will welcome in someone to make that co-partnership who is healthy. Let's get you to that very place too. If you know someone who could benefit from this, that's going from one unhealthy relationship into another, or staying for protracted periods of time, much longer than they should, in unhealthy relationships, have them contact me at talkdavid.com. Talkdavid.com will get everyone back on the right track to feeling great about themselves. And once you feel great about yourself, your energy changes and you will attract so much healthier people to you, okay? And don't forget to sign up at YouTube right now under Super Slowdown so that every video we put out, you get directly sent to you. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye now.